So welcome everyone. Hi, my name is Janelle Braun-Barrick. I am the Senior Director of App Exchange Sales and Alliances here at CalendarAnything. And I am joined by Lena Sen, who is our Senior Director of Product Management. I will let her introduce herself.
Hi, everyone. Thank you, Janelle. My name is Lena. I'm a senior director here for CalendarAnything. I oversee all aspects of CalendarAnything product management, development, and support. I'll be doing some demoing today. So back to you, Janelle.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Lena. So yeah, again, I said this at the top of the call. I will say it again. This open office hours is for you guys an open forum. We're going to provide some additional information around our latest release. But in addition to that, please feel free to type in any questions or just come off mute at any point and say, hey, I want to discuss XYZ. I have a feature request, or I'm just having an issue with CalendarAnything in general. Perhaps you want to see a certain display setting and you're not sure how it works or how to make that display happen. Definitely let us know. We're happy to help, and that's why we have these office hours. Some housekeeping things. Newsletter, CalendarAnything newsletter that includes our latest release notes, some customer stories, things like that. The latest one drops on February 12th. If you're not receiving our newsletters, please make sure that you reach out to us. You can talk to us in our chat. You can send us an email. You can go to calendaranything.com and submit a case. Let us know. We'll make sure that you are part of that list. One of the main things, if you've ever opted out of a CalendarAnything email, you will be opted out of that newsletter. So definitely make sure that you're opted into our email so you can know when the latest releases are dropping, and you can get full release notes and also a link to upgrade to the latest version for both sandbox to test as well as production. So with that, we do have the latest release of CalendarAnything LWC out available on the App Exchange. It's version 1.102. And CalendarAnything, of course, has the full release notes at calendaranything.com. But I actually want to push it over to Lena for just a second. If you'll go over one of the main changes that we had around our new features, horizontal scroll and day view. We're going to be demoing this, but I just wanted, Lena, for you to go over a little bit of a high level before we hop right into a demo.
Yes, sure thing, Janelle. So we had a request from one of our enterprise clients, and their use case is that their salespeople have a lot of events happening sort of on the same day at the same time. It's more like a call down list that they need to go through, and the CalendarAnything wasn't showing all the items that they needed to see. So we expanded that functionality. Now we are made some UI changes that allows you to see a full list of things that are on your to-do list. So as I demo, I'll definitely go over that feature.
Perfect. And actually, we have a question that came in, which is a really great question. This is exactly the reason we have these office hours. It's a question about the fact that before you were able to double click into a record and have it pop up into a new window. And now users are experiencing the fact, Lena, that they have to click into a window and then go to the preview. I believe if you'll share your screen, I'm going to stop sharing and share your screen. You can walk us through what that user setting is to make sure that you have the option to double click into a record and bring up that record.
Yep. Absolutely. So actually, that's a good segue into our demo portion of this office hours. So I want to call our session today is sort of back to basics. We're going to be going over all our views and maybe some familiar but forgotten or maybe new items or features that we offer. So I think it's a good refresher for the older clients as well as our newer clients, just to see little tricks that you might not have been aware of. So let me share my screen. And we're going to start with the question.
Oh, Lena, you're on mute.
Sorry. Yeah, so ability to double click and open record detail in a new tab. That's a display setting option. And I'm going to quickly go to our display settings. It's in the general and we can search. So it's in the advanced section. You need to enable this open record detail in the new browser tab display setting. And then once you have that enabled, when you double click, it will open the record detail in the new browser tab. So I hope that answered your question, Boone. If not, raise your hand. All right, so let's go back here, and I'm actually going to start with our day view. So day view is very similar to all the day views in all the other calendars in CalendarAnything. I want to highlight one thing that we used to have in our classic version that didn't fully transition to LWC, but we do have a way of having the same view. So we used to have a day view agenda, what we called it. So it basically allows you still have a day view, but more like in a list format. So you can accomplish that by adjusting your display settings. So currently we have it set to show some all day event area as well as the time area. If I'm gonna go into our little orchestra guide for quick settings and I'm gonna set this to all day, you'll see that on the fly, it adjusted my view, and I'm now looking at all my events in sort of a list view. I can still do, click and see the detail pop up. I can click on preview. I can edit. It's just a different way of how you can style your day view. So let me go back and reset that to 30. Another thing I want to highlight is the new feature that we enabled, which is the horizontal scrolling. So in case when you have a lot of things happening at the same time, let me switch to different date where I have some test data. I think it was Wednesday. You can see that I have a lot of events here. I think I have maybe like over 100 or so. We enabled a horizontal scroll in the day view, so now I can scroll through my list and then I can hover and expand, which is also a display setting option that allows you to drill in without having to click into anything, especially if you're using additional fields, so you can definitely see more information about any particular record. Also on hover, it gives you more stuff here as well. So this is a new the new feature. So horizontal scroll is enabled for everyone. You don't need to do anything to enable that. If you want to expand on hover, that's a display setting that your users will need to enable. So I want to take a little pause here. Any questions about Dayview? Anything you want to learn about Dayview that I didn't cover?
Or anything that you want to hear about any of the views. We're going to go through and Lena's going to give a little bit of a high level on all of the views. But if you want to see something particular or you're trying to see something as far as a display setting, like Boone pointed out, please raise your hand. We're happy to help.
Yep. All right, so moving on, Dayview was grouping, just another way on how you can slice and dice the data. So Dayview is grouping, it will allow you, let me go back to today actually, to not just look at the data in sort of this list view format, but you can actually group this data. So let's say if I want to group by the account name that this event is related to, I can easily do that with my grouping options here. So so that's the main kind of advantage of using Dayview with grouping. It's great for resource allocation use case if you need to allocate people or assets on the fly, if you want to see who's doing what when. For today, Dayview with grouping is a great view for that particular use case. All right, moving on to our week view. So I want to circle back to ability to view a lot of records in a week view, or rather inability before. So the new update that we made, let me switch back to my 2025, and I think it was this week here. You can see that in the week view, we have a limited real estate space for each of the columns here. You can only see 20 columns or 20 records in the week view. So what we did, we set sort of like indicator here saying that on Wednesday, it looks like you have more than 20 events that we are showing here. So you can now click on the header that's highlighted, and it will take you to the day view, where again, you have your horizontal scrolling, you have your ability to expand and see more. And then from here, once you're done looking at this data, you can go back to your week view. So that's the new feature that was added in the last release. This is available for everyone. You don't need to enable anything in display settings. Everyone gets it. We also have expand and hover available in the week view. Again, it's a display setting that you need to enable. And in addition to that, similar to day view, you can enable that agenda-like view for the week view as well, where you see all your data sort of in a list view manner on the fly. So let me reset this back. 2:30. I'm gonna pause again to see if there are any questions or if Janelle has anything that you think we might want to cover for the week view.
I don't think so, not in the week view. I know we have a lot to go over in the Gantt view, so I'll probably save all of my comments for that.
Awesome. So months view, let me switch back to today. Is your standard months view interface. We have several things that I want to call out. So we have an option of fixed versus order. So again, I'm gonna use my my quick settings here. So currently it's set to auto, which means that the cells will expand depending on how many records we need to show. So for the sake of demonstration, let me quickly clone this event, and I want to add 10 more PTO records for this date. I'm going to click save. So you see now that this row expanded to accommodate for all the new records that I have here. If I switch this to fixed, it means that each cell is now, it has a fixed height. And if you want to see more information, we show that, you know, on February 8th, we have 11 more events to show. You can click here, it will give you a list. Again, you can click into each record to see more information here. And then click close. What in addition to that, what you can do is you can click on a date, and it will take you to the day view. So from here, again, you can see more information for this particular date. And then once you're done, there's a back button that you can click, and it will take you back to the month's view.
Lena, I'm going to pause right here. We actually have a question come in, or maybe a clarification. So I'm just going to read it out. So I just gave the open record details and new browser tab, I'm guessing a try, and that doesn't really do what I was looking for. After I click the box for an option above it, we'll open the event record in a new browser tab. But if I double click on an event in any of the calendar views, nothing happens other than the pop-up showing, which already happens if it's a single click.
Yeah, we'll have to take a look at that. And also make sure that you check which version you're on. whether it's classic or LWC, we'll need to know the version number, and then Janelle, please make a note. We'll have one of our support engineers reach out and take a closer look.
Yep, perfect. What happens if you hold the control or command key down while clicking it, Boone, is what Mel suggested. I was also thinking if pop-up, there's a difference between opening in a new browser tab and also opening in your console in Salesforce too, right?
Yes, correct. So in the console view, so let me just go ahead here and uncheck this. So if I do the same thing here, it will just open it in the calendar tab because it's an event in the same tab.
So Boone, go ahead and we'll have our support team reach out to you, but if you will, go ahead and grant us login access so we can go ahead and take a look at your org. But I know the first thing they're going to ask is for you to update to the latest version. But Boone does state that he's on the previous version, Lena, so he's pretty up to date.
Yeah. So we'll need to take a look.
Perfect. Thank you so much. That's the reason we're here. Sorry, Lena, if you have next things you want to go over.
Yes. So the next thing we're gonna move on to our agenda view. So a few things about agenda view. Let me actually open a different calendar here. So agenda view, here we're having some additional fields added to this calendar. Agenda view can be set up in a way where the additional fields are expanded or collapsed on page load. We have it set to be expanded. If you have a lot of events that you're showing with additional fields on them, in some cases, it makes sense to have them all be displayed in this collapsed view. And then if you need to see more information, you can click on the little button here and it will expand to show you more details. So that's one thing that I wanted to highlight. Also, here it looks like we have our hide empty dates feature or display setting enabled. So let me go to my display settings and click on agenda view. So I'm gonna uncheck this and click save. So what this will do is, let me see if I can find some empty days here. Maybe let's go to February or even March.
There was some in March, Lena, right there, March 1st through the 4th. And then also if you scroll down, there's like the 5th through the 11th.
Yeah, let me quickly refresh. I'm not sure why it's not showing me the empty days now. Let's just double check that the display setting is enabled. Oh, display empty days. Yes, the other way around. All right. So you'll see here that because we have that display setting enabled and now see days that don't have any events. So in case if you want to make it a more streamlined or clearer UI, you can optionally hide those dates that don't have anything on the agenda view. Janelle, I see there are a couple of chat questions, maybe.
I think we've answered all of them so far.
Okay, great, awesome. All right, so moving on to the Gantt view. So just a couple of highlights about the Gantt view. You have a variety of ways of how you can manage your data. So you can display your data starting from one day to all time, and then you can segment that data by hour, day, week, months, and quarter. Here we loading data by hour for 1 week. Um, we have this expand collapse view. So if you have a long label where you need to see more information, you can set it by default to be expanded. A couple of things I want to highlight for the Gantt view is the ability to set the default groupings per calendar. So when you set up your calendars, you can define what your default Gantt groupings are, and every time you load that calendar, those defaults will be applied. Optionally, if you don't set defaults, you can do it on the fly. So here we have first level grouping, the assign tool. Let's come here and select the count name for the second level. So that's also an option. One really nice feature that we have for Gantt grouping as well as Dayview and swim lane grouping is ability to limit the fields that the users have to group by. So let me switch to different calendar here. So you'll see that we have a whole set of list fields for our opportunity objects. So CalendarAnything admin can go to their admin settings panel, and we have a section here called field grouping limits. And I see we have it enabled for campaign objects, so we can use that as an example. So here we said for campaign object, whenever a calendar is built using that and they're in the Gantt view, only show this 5 fields for grouping. So what it does is it eliminates end user confusion. They don't need to scroll through a list of thousands of fields. It also improves CalendarAnything performance because we don't have to load information about all those fields. So if you are having if you want to make your calendars even faster, definitely consider using this option as a limitation for what fields your end users can use for grouping. So I'm going to click cancel and actually switch on my campaign calendar. So you'll see here in the field section, I only have access to 5 fields for grouping, even though campaign object has like, I don't know, 300 fields in this org. So this is a really nice way of improving calendar performance as well as end user experience overall. You'll also notice that we have other grouping options here. So these options are controlled within display settings, so users can define which grouping options they want to use. So for example, if you are not using queues or if you don't have custom grouping defined, the users can disable that. The admin can also disable that on the org-wide basis. That can be done through a custom page configuration. We have knowledge articles on our knowledge base that talk at length about how to set it up. If you need help, definitely reach out to us via case and we'll help you set it up.
Awesome, Lena. So I definitely want to get to this next question, and you're probably going to want to go ahead and pull up our availability scheduling demo if you can. We had a great question come in. I'm just going to go ahead and read it out to the group so you understand the use case and why availability scheduling is one of the greatest new features of CalendarAnything. So the question is this: hi there, I use CalendarAnything for booking our facility studios for school workshops. Is it possible to input a studio booking in our private facility calendar and then make it visible to the public to request to book that space? Right now, we're using a second calendar for booking request, and we manually plug it into CalendarAnything for our internal schedules. We use CalendarAnything as a plugin for Patron Manager, i.e. Salesforce. So Lena, if you want to walk us through availability scheduling and how we can solve for the visualization of calendars and also self-scheduling.
Absolutely. In this org, we have, we can use probably this one here. Okay. So, we have our real estate use case built out in this org. So we have several agents who cover different properties here. We set up an availability calendar for the agents. I'm gonna show on the back end what that looks like. So this is our agents. Each agent is covering certain properties. They can come here and they can set their availability. So let's see, it looks like Mark is busy somewhere else at some different property. Let's see where he's available actually. Yeah, so it looks like he's he's covering Icon North Tower 9A. So he went here and he set his availability for days and times where he can do the showings. And then we have it enabled through, I believe, a community here. And this can be done on the external facing site as well. So basically here we're showing a calendar of all availability for a particular agent, for a particular property, and this can be exposed to external users with obviously limited UI here, just showing them the calendar, maybe like different view options with all the other things hidden. They can select a time slot, and then they can convert this virtual availability into an actual appointment.
So just to, parrot what Lena just said, this is a completely custom page and it's completely customizable. So, right now we're showing CalendarAnything in a month view, but we could actually only limit it to an agenda view or a week view if that's how you want your end users or your audience to view it. We can hide the sidebar altogether and automatically enable a calendar. We can take buttons away. We can make it very streamlined and simple. And the big thing is this is just a completely custom force.com site that we're using in this case. So to Leah's question, anybody that has access to that URL will have access to be able to self-schedule. And then once the appointment is created, which is what Lena's about to take you through, is the fact that now we're doing the full lead generation process. We're capturing every bit of information that those folks have entered in. And of course, that form is completely custom as well. And we can load all that information into Salesforce to market to them and to start that opportunity process.
Correct. So in this case, we're coming from a community, so we know who the logged in user is. But if we were to come from a public facing site, we would have a page where people have to enter their information like email and phone number, and then we can match that information to either existing contact or lead or create new ones. So that work is in addition to CalendarAnything, and our team is fully equipped in helping you set it up.
I also, I know we're still talking about availability scheduling. Leah, let me know if that did not answer your question. We're also, of course, more than welcome and happy to provide a full availability scheduling demo to your team. You can test availability scheduling just a little bit as far as the internal use case within your org and within a sandbox. All of the custom pages, the force.com site pages and the embedding, that'll, of course, all be custom work. But actually setting availability of internal folks, you can test. And then just one thing I want to call out if you're not watching chat, Mel actually made a really good point. She about what Lena was just demoing earlier around when is it appropriate to limit the fields in Gantt view? And my answer back was, it really matters how many users are actually using Gantt view. If you have users that are heavy Gantt view users, you absolutely want to limit the fields, because most of the time there's hundreds of fields, and that will slow load time. So anytime you can, definitely make sure that you're limiting the fields if you're Gantt view users or swim lane view users, or day view grouping. So this is great. Thank you so much for everyone for their questions. Lena, if you have anything else about availability scheduling, we'd love to hear it.
Not right now. I just want to say that we do have some information on our website as well as recorded demo. So for anyone who is not familiar or didn't check it out yet, definitely do. And like Janelle said, reach out to us for a more customized demo based on your use case. We can also do that as well.
Awesome. And then we had another great question come in. Can you walk us through, Lena, the differences between what day grouping provides and what swim lane is? What's the difference between the two? What's the right use case for a day grouping versus swim lane?
Absolutely. All right, so let's switch to swim lane. And let's go to our, we can use team events calendar actually. All right, so swim lane is essentially a horizontal view, and day view is grouping is more of a vertical view, and it's limited to just one day. In swim lane, you can, we have several options on how you can view the data. So you can view by hour, which is essentially going to be the same as the day view, just in horizontal UI. Again, you can group the data by different fields.
Let's do assign to, Lena, for this one. I think that's best for like a resource allocation use case, which is usually what swim lane is used for. So yeah.
Let me actually switch to maybe a day before. Let's see if we have some data here. Jessica is our most popular user, as you can see. Yeah, so it gives you information about you know, who the event is assigned to. That's your column here, and then the event will span over a period of time for the duration of the event. Another way to view this data is by day, so that will give you a full month of data by day. If you have more than one item happening on the same day, they'll be stacked as cards. We're displaying some additional information here for events that have a longer descriptions. You can see that it will expand as you hover. So you can see the full information about this event. You can drag and drop to reassign. So let's say we want to reassign this to Harrison. You can do that with drag and drop. And also you probably noticed that the conditional coloring has changed as well. There is an option to have a scroll through, which means that if you are looking at February, when you reach the end of February, you can seamlessly transition into the next month, which is March, or go back. So this is a display setting that you need to enable. And then our most recent addition to swim lane view is the week option. So you can actually view data by week in chunks of weeks. So this gives you more of a kind of an overview, like you can see the whole month kind of without having to scroll. And then if you want to drill down to a specific week, you can easily do that by either switching to a day or hour and then selecting the day that you are that you want.
Perfect. Thank you so much. So very similar, like Lena said, to day view. The fact that you do have a little bit more options with week view, and also the fact that the axes are different is a huge one. So I know we are coming up on time. Oh no, we have a full hour. I keep thinking it's 45 minutes. Sorry, Lena.
No worries, Janelle. So there are a couple of other things I want to highlight in general. So some of you probably noticed that we have this little plus button here. So this is again enabled by display setting. As you know, CalendarAnything is click and create. You can drag for the duration of the event. You can let go and you can select your calendar and you can create it this way. We also added for convenience. I know some people are used to, having the plus button in different calendar interfaces. So you can just click on the plus, select the calendar. So let's do event. And it will give you the same pop-up form that you can fill out and create new records. So that's an option if the users prefer to have an icon instead of having to click into the calendar or drag and drop. I also wanted to quickly highlight conditional coloring option that we have that some of you might not be aware. So let me actually switch back to maybe a month view here. So you see currently in the opportunities calendar, we have three levels of conditional coloring. We're coloring by stage, by amount, and also by opportunity type. And you can see that the conditional colors are applied in the order that they have been added in the calendar setup, and they all kind of come in different colors. We have an option now where you can preserve that calendar color by selecting this option. And what it will give you, it will color all of your opportunity records in the calendar color and then apply the conditional colors on the side. So this creates a more of a uniformed view. And if you're viewing or overlaying several calendars at the same time, so maybe you're looking at opportunities and campaigns, that opportunities are always purple and campaign are always blue, so you can easily distinguish visually on a calendar which records you're looking at.
I do want to make a quick call out to a not silly question at all, Boone, about when you go to upgrade sandbox or production. Do you click install for admins only or install for all users? You always want to install for all users because it will limit your permissions if you do that in production. So always, always, always install for all users so you have zero issues with permission sets going in and assigning licenses out.
Yep, always install and upgrade for all users. So users that don't have CalendarAnything license and the permission set will not have access to CalendarAnything, but it will make a job for an admin a little bit easier if you install for all users.
Some great questions for today. I love it. Any other questions, of course, open forum, please reach out. Let us know what questions you have, or if like display settings, like I said. I see that we're able to group by users, field types, and record types. Are we also able to group by permission levels?
So currently we have several levels of groupings, and you can select which ones you want to enable or disable. So these are all of our grouping options. We support fields, user list views. We have a custom grouping option, which basically creating a custom list view for an object and applying that list view as a grouping. We are supporting grouping by department, grouping by queue, and public groups. That's
So for custom, if we were trying to group by a custom list view, would Mel be able to do it by permission level? Would they be able to create a permission level list view?
so when I custom group by essentially means like if you are on the opportunities object and you creating your list view, you can define here different things, right? You can say, apply your filters. You can say, show me everything where field equals that, or, you know, it's essentially taking what you have as a list view on the object and sort of recreating it for the calendar.
So permission levels isn't really an object, so you wouldn't be able to do it the custom route, correct?
Right. So the only permission sort of like grouping that we allow is the user list views and public groups.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Public groups, and could you do it by role, or you would just do it by permissions inside of setup and create that public group based on permissions?
So I believe you can probably create a user list view based on permissions, and also you can create a public group and just add people based on roles or profiles.
If you have any issues with that, Mel, definitely go ahead and just submit a case to us. We're happy to help you with it.
Yeah.
All super great questions. Any other questions? Lena, anything else you want to go over while folks think about their questions?
Well, that was all on my agenda for this back to basics episode of our office hours. If anyone has any questions, after we're done, definitely let us know, email us, submit a case, we'll get back to you.
Oh, okay. This is a great one that just came in. Any function or feature that could allow for bulk editing of calendar time and dates?
Yes. So we actually have an option for multi-select and we actually multi-select and create. So I believe I have to find the key. I'm not using that often. Command. So I can select multiple time slots. You see I'm highlighting some options here. And then it's gonna open the pop-up, and here you can say, you can control like the creating 7 events here. You can specify the dates, whether you want them to be all day or at the time. They will all have the same subject and all other information, but you can definitely do multi-create, and I believe you can also do the edit as well on multiple records at a time.
Awesome. We also had a really great question. No stupid questions here, please. I assume that you were able to find the version. Yes. So how you find the new version of, or what version you're currently on first, Lena? How do you find what version you're currently on?
So navigate to the help section. It will tell you which version is installed in your org.
Perfect. And then from here, do we not have I thought we did a list to our App Exchange page. We need to add that.
Yeah.
You can go straight to your App Exchange page or CalendarAnything App Exchange page. I'm going to have Lena working on getting a link here to upgrade to the latest version within our help section. And yes, the update will need to be done by the Salesforce admin. They have the proper permissions to install into your org.
Yeah, and then you can either upgrade from the App Exchange, or you can navigate to our release notes and be providing installation links for both sandbox and production installs.
So yes, all super great questions. Anything else that we want to answer on today's office hours? Again, a reminder that we do these the second Thursday of every month at 3 p.m. Eastern. Using the newest feature in the sandbox to double click feature you're missing in there's. Okay, perfect. Boone said his solution was just to upgrade, so he is good to go on the double click version. Yay. Perfect. Awesome. That's what we love to hear. Thank you so much for that feedback, Boone. We won't have our support team reach out to you and bother you. So perfect. I think we're gonna wrap unless anybody has any other questions that we want to go over today. If anything comes up throughout the month, please submit a case. You can go to calendaranything.com and submit a case there. There's also a plethora of knowledge articles there that you can just search our knowledge base and help yourself. We're in the throes of creating videos for even more ease of use, so you don't have to read through. And you can see the point and click in all of the wonderful screenshots. But yeah, as you have any questions, please reach out to us. And we thank you so much for joining us today. And you will get a copy of this in your inbox tomorrow. So even if you register for our office hours and you can't attend, that's completely fine. You'll still get a copy of it in your inbox the next day. Be on the lookout for our newsletter, which will have the latest release in it, as well as the release notes. And again, I know a few of you reached out to me and chatted to me saying, hey, I don't think I'm a part of the list. If you feel like you're not receiving emails, definitely let me know, and I will make sure that you are on the list. But most likely, if you're here, you probably get our emails. So thank you guys so much, and we will talk with you next time.